The gaming industry in 2024 went through a big change as the live service model, once seen as the future, hit a major collapse. While indie and smaller games flourished with creativity, big publishers struggled, releasing expensive failures. Let's break down what went wrong, why these games failed, and what it means for gaming's future. Now, before diving into the failures, it's worth celebrating the success of indie and smaller games in 2024. Titles like Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Nine Souls, Balatro, and others captured players with simple yet fresh ideas. These games proved that players prefer creative, original ideas over repetitive, money-driven designs. For me, their success was a reminder that originality still matters in gaming. Now, while indie games thrived, live service games had a disastrous year. Big publishers poured millions of dollars into projects that flopped, leading to financial losses, layoffs, and damaged reputation. Rocksteady Studios, known for the beloved Batman Arkham series, spent 7 years and $200 million on Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. Right from the start, the game faced criticism for its live service co-op model and bland gameplay. When it finally launched, it received poor reviews and quickly lost players. By December, Rocksteady announced that the game would shut down in early 2025, though they added an offline mode. Fans were left wondering how such a talented studio could miss the mark so badly. Sony's Concord, developed by Firewalk Studios, was another high-profile flop. The competitive FPS promised weekly story updates but failed to stand out. Its humor, gameplay, and art style felt outdated and uninspired. Despite warnings, Sony launched the game only to pull it within 2 weeks, and the $200 million failure ended with Firewalk Studios shutting down, making a rare black eye for Sony's otherwise strong reputation. Then came Ubisoft X Defiant, which showed promise at first, attracting 7 million players in its debut week. The game targeted Call of Duty fans unhappy with certain mechanics but couldn't hold on to its audience, especially after Call of Duty Black Ops 6, one of the series' best entries, came out. By the end of the year, Ubisoft shut down X Defiant, leaving 277 developers without jobs. It was another example of how hard it is to compete with gaming giants, even with a decent game. After a decade of development and reportedly over $650 million in investment, Ubisoft's pirate adventure Skull and Bones was poorly received at launch, which is really shocking because all they had to do was take the blueprint of Black Flag's naval combat, which was awesome, and make it more expansive. But instead, we got uninspired multiplayer mechanics and repetitive gameplay for a $70 price tag. I mean, only Ubisoft is capable of making a boring version of its own game, but the game is apparently getting a New Year 2 content update despite the incredibly low player count on some platforms. So maybe there's a way back. So why did these games fail? Well, the collapse of live service games in 2024 came down to 3 main problems in my opinion. First, the market has been oversaturated. Players only have so much time and attention, and with so many live service titles out there, most simply couldn't stand out. Even big publishers underestimated how crowded the space has become. Second, the cost of making and maintaining these games are sky high. Live service games need constant updates, new content, and expensive servers. When a game doesn't grab a loyal audience right away, companies often shut it down quickly to avoid further losses. Many of these games felt generic, reusing old ideas, and failed to offer anything new. Players are hungry for fresh experiences, and when a game doesn't deliver on that, it's hard to keep their interest. Now, several other live service games also struggled in 2024. Square Enix Foamstar had a colorful Splatoon-inspired look but couldn't maintain an audience and faded fast. Capcom's Exoprimal started off strong, helped by Xbox Game Pass and fun crossover events, but players quickly moved on to other titles. Even big games like Overwatch 2 and Apex Legends saw a decline in player numbers. Overwatch 2 was especially hit hard by competition from Marvel Rivals, a polished hero shooter that brought fresh energy to the genre. Now, that's not to say that every live service game failed. Some managed to stand out by offering something fresh or learning from past mistakes. Helldivers 2 is still going strong through all the challenges. Meanwhile, Marvel Rivals, developed by NetEase, succeeded by borrowing on from Overwatch while developing polished gameplay and a clear understanding of its audience. These successes show that live service games can still work if they're done right. Now, the failures of 2024 offer important lessons for the gaming industry. First, creativity matters. The market doesn't need uninspired games. Publishers need to focus on originality and polish. Second, the developers need to pay attention to what players want. Many of the flops happened because they ignored feedback from the communities. Third, games should just strike a balance between making money and keeping players happy. Players are really fed up with excessive microtransactions and heavy grind design. To wrap it up, I just want to say that the metric for measuring a game's success has drastically changed, and it's important to realize that players' time and effort can no longer be taken for granted, and practices like developing detailed monetization strategies and systems have neither meaning nor purpose if the game they're a part of offer no reason for players to return the next day. The spectacular crash and burns of Suicide Squad, Concord, X Defiant, Skull and Bones will surely be a cautionary tale for the industry going into 2025. In a room full of these multi-million-dollar flops and hundreds of easily avoidable layoffs, we can only hope that publishers finally get the message that there simply isn't enough room room for their version of Fortnite. The sooner they come to grips with the reality, the healthier the industry can be. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And until next time, happy gaming and Happy New Year.